Ready? All right, you ready? Here we go. Hey, LBC! Lewisport Church family, we just want to welcome you from afar in Cleveland, Ohio, where we are spending the week ministering with a couple of church plants here, and we have the privilege of ministering with a church from Tennessee, as well as 4 college students who are helping to lead our group, along with Jay, our city coordinator, who lives here year-round to support and help local church plants here in the Cleveland area. In Matthew 27, Jesus rebukes the spiritual leaders, the scribes and Pharisees, for having what he called whitewashed tombs, and that is, they were making sure that everything about the outward appearance looked good, while inwardly they were spiritually dead. And that's honestly been the opposite of our experience here so far. We drove into a church that is hosting us, First Hispanic Baptist Church of Cleveland, Ohio. And from the outside, we kind of all took a deep breath when we were driving into this church that was surrounded by a fence and a gate that was locked at night, and what was an old rundown either like bowling alley or grocery store. And I think, though nobody said it, we were thinking, oh, we're staying here for the next 7 days. But as soon as we entered the doors, what we noticed was the genuine, loving, Jesus-changed souls of every person that has been attending this church, that is a member of this church. They are warm and loving, and we instantly sensed the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace as we started interacting with them. So it's been a really great experience so far, and we want to take a few minutes and just update you on what's happened just in our first couple days of being in Cleveland. Scott?
Yes, we've been here for 2 days now, and yesterday we went on supposed to have been a prayer tour on the subway, but we get to the bus station, the trains broke, so we get on the buses and go into town. We're going an hour into town and an hour out of town, and there was our kids stepped up in the surroundings they were put in. Some felt like, I'm here, what could happen to me? There could be something. Then we had some that had open minds, open hearts. They spoke to many different people. And then today, last night, our van, we was driving it, had service engine soon light come on. We stopped by AutoZone, got it checked out today, and we had one guy walked up and said he noticed that God's vehicle was broke down. He said, and he offered his hands. He said, I'm a mechanic. This is what I do. He gave me these to work with. That's one thing that, there's opportunities like that, we're going to have more of them throughout the week. And I've just challenged everyone from LBC on this trip to have an open mind, be mission-minded, take advantages of the opportunities we're given here in Cleveland. And also that should be taken back home. If you're given an opportunity this week, take advantage of it.
While we were at the bus station, we got this piece of paper, like telling where we were going to go on the bus. And,
Went through different parts of town.
And then we went to different parts of town, and the paper, described, different parts of the city that we went to. And we got to see, like, different cultures that we would never see. And we got a chance to take time for each of the different types of cities and to pray for them.
While being down here, going to the service this morning, and like yesterday, we had a little bit of free time before we got started. Went out to the stores and just all of us really hanging out and getting to worship together, buying Nerf guns and shooting each other with them, just having fun and really getting to bond and getting out of being in a routine, but still being able to praise Him and just kind of getting a refresher while we're down here, so that while we're down here we can be a better influence in the community and then bring it back home, just so that we can use the energy He's given us to help further His Word.
Yesterday on the bus, this guy sat by me named Steve, and Matt prayed for him, and me and Steve got into a good conversation. And he told me that he was a teacher and that he was taking lessons about ancient Greek mythology and something else, but I can't remember. And that he has a son, and his son is taking his two oldest sons on a canoe trip. And I thought it was just amazing how we could have a conversation and he not get angry at us, and that we were able to pray for him, and that it was just incredible.
Okay, before going on this trip, I never actually seen a church that didn't have a church building. But first thing that I see when we came on this trip was the church we were staying at used to be a grocery store, but it's actually a really nice church inside. And then the church we went to this morning is currently a high school, and it just made me know that we are so blessed with the church building we have.
So Friday night we went to this ice cream shop, and they had a specialty shake and a specialty sundae, yeah. And it was the Della Vanilla Shake and the La Brownie Sundae, and I just thought that was kind of cool.
Tell them why.
Oh yeah, because yeah, the Cavs are in the NBA Finals. And
Woo!
That's
and
pretty,
they're going to win.
That's pretty
So,
Isn't it what it says?
Warriors.
Warriors, Golden State.
This trip has been a blessing from day one. We arrived safely. God got us here. The minute we drove up into the parking lot, got out of our vehicles, these ladies walked up to Charlene and I and gave us big hugs and kept saying, "God bless you, God bless you." And they were hosting us, and they host many other groups here throughout the year. But you would think that we were doing something for them. And they just are such warm, spirit-filled people. And like Matt said, you could not ask for a nicer place to stay. And we have felt very comfortable and safe here. And the people have just been so warm and kind. And then this morning, we got to go to a plant church and worship with the people there. There, I think, was a total of 22 people, and small. We were very small in numbers, but we had a great worship service, and the pastor gave a really great message, and we're looking forward to doing a lot of work with them this week.
Going to Lake Erie was amazing because it looks like the ocean is, I mean, you know why they call it great, but it was just amazing to see just this big, beautiful thing that God created, and you realize how small you are because it's bigger than you and God's bigger than it. So you're like, oh, okay, so the creator of the creation is going to protect his creation, and just he's going to protect us and keep us safe, and it just shows how much he loves us to create something so beautiful. And just being able to come on this trip from working all the time is a blessing, because we're still going to be working here, but when you give God your all, he's going to recharge you and rejuvenate you and make it completely worth it.
I had no earthly idea that I'd be on this trip. Matt sent me a text in early March about, hey, are you going to one of the church camp trips or whatnot? And I was like, I don't know where I'm going to be this summer, because I was planning on an internship elsewhere. Lo and behold, I ended up in Hancock County for the summer, and we met last weekend, and we talked about, is there any spots open for Cleveland or crossings? And he was like, yeah, there's a spot open for Cleveland. And I was like, sure, I'm up for it. And God's blessed me with this trip, and I'm excited to see what comes up.
First of all, I'd just like to say I'm thankful that I was able to fill in for Joanne, as she was supposed to come and wasn't able, and I got to enjoy this blessing with your children. They are wonderful children that you like to ago. And yes, Tony, she did break her pillow. And, disasters in the kitchen, like broken can openers and ovens that want to blow out in your face. And
Fire in the hole!
singe your hair off your arm and scare you. And we've still been able to fix them the meals, and they've all said they were really good and they were very appreciative. And yes, Sherlyn, we are so enjoying your husband's sense of humor.
Y'all see the burrito we ate?
You try to put it on Jane's plate.
That's right. That's right.
How am I supposed to follow up with this?
That's tough.
Go ahead. We'll get to it.
We had a great opportunity to go to Lake Erie Saturday, and we sat on some rocks and relaxed and looked at the amazing creation that God has created. We just prayed for the week, prayed for each other, and had a great time.
There have been a lot of experiences that we've had that we're learning how to interpret in the context of God working in our lives. And in Ephesians, Paul says, "I, therefore, a prisoner of the Lord, urge you to walk in a manner worthy of the calling to which you have been called, with all humility and gentleness, with patience, bearing with one another in love, eager to maintain the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace." And he goes on to talk about that there's one body of Christ, and there's one Lord that we serve, and there's one baptism within which we are baptized. And this is just the beginning of our trip. But parents who are watching this video, I want you to know your kids are, number one, they're behaving wonderfully. And more importantly than that, it's wonderful to see that their love for the Lord is pouring out of their lives in the chores that they've been asked to do, that they've done with a joyful heart. Maintaining the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace is really what this team has begun to learn how to do. And it takes work, it takes effort, and by God's grace, all of these dozen undeserving people are able to minister, and as well as being ministered to by just pursuing the Lord and living out our faith in the wonderful moments of this trip and in the challenges that we have as well. We expect a lot of really great things in the upcoming 5 days and look forward to giving you a more detailed report. But just so far, we just wanted to say, hey, from Cleveland, and thank you for praying for us. Some of you have sent encouragements, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're encouraging us. And so we're really thankful for you and encourage you to go to lewisportbaptist.org/Cleveland, and you can track how our trip is going. We'll try to update that daily. And as well, there's a link there that you can use to send encouragement to an individual on the team or to the entire team. And we would certainly appreciate your prayer throughout the week as well as encouragement. Thank you guys. We love you. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Judy.
Judy! Can't use any of
All right. What time is it?